welcome to Two Owls Talking Sports Road Trip Edition. We are live on the campus of Hoquiam High School in this beautiful gym for, I believe, the first time in program history as our JV and varsity boys get ready to take on the Hoquiam Grizzlies. But we bring you Two Owls Talking Sports no matter where we go. This will be the last edition of 2025. I'm Mike Davidson, as always, with my partner, John Wiley, the athletic director at the Overlake School. And John, what a scene this is. It's fun to be on the road with you.
Hey, this is the fun stuff, right? We are sitting at Hoquiam. This gym is, I'm guessing it was originally built probably 50 years ago. It is just fantastic. It's got wood bleachers, a beautiful floor. If I were lacing them up in high school basketball again, this is the kind of place I'd love to play.
Yeah, there are certain places when you travel the state that smell like high school basketball, that sound like high school basketball, and this is one of them. Hey, real quick while we're on the subject, what are your favorite 1A kind of old school small town gyms around the state? We played in a lot of them.
Well, 1A, 2B, 1B doesn't really matter. I love rural basketball. The whole towns come out for these games. So whether we're at Orcas Island or Linden Christian, or I would say my favorite in the state, this would be a top 3, by the way.
Absolutely.
This is a great building. But probably Darrington High School, the home of the Loggers, has just an all-wood 2-level gym. It is right out of Hoosiers, and I'd love the opportunity to go back there and check it out again.
A little dicey getting up Highway 2 this week, but if you can get around the washouts, get to Darrington. But we are here in Hoquiam to bring you this one. The Owls have been back in action over the last week. We haven't seen them in a little while as finals week was happening, but they got back into action at home, hosted the Cedar Park Eagles. That was a way to get back on track for those guys, wasn't it?
Yeah, you could just feel the pressure off their shoulders after finals week. They came out and they played the kind of basketball we've seen a lot of in December, and really handled them. That game, it just seemed like it was 30 points the whole time, wound up being 66-44. A lot of guys got in the book. Derek Lee led the way with 20 points and 9 boards, but it was a great team effort.
Yeah, that team looked confident from the minute that game started. The offense was back clicking. The defensive pressure was back in place. A real good statement win in that Chinook division for the boys.
Oh, yeah, and something that, we know they're a top 3 team. I mean, everybody's picked them to be a top 3 team in the conference. There's 2 divisions of 5 apiece. We're in the top division. Unfortunately, we didn't play well before finals against Bear Creek, but by beating Northwest and Cedar Park handily, who were 2 of those foes, yeah, it's us, Kings, and Bear Creek in the top 3.
And that top 3 matters. There are 3 spots out of the Intramural Sound Conference to the state tournament, so that's why that top 3 really matters. And how about Bear Creek with a statement win against Kings last week as well?
Yeah, I don't know if they have won prior against Kings. Kings is usually, the standard bearer. They're a great team. They're going to make a deep run in state as usual, but Bear Creek got them. And Bear Creek's been really hot. They got a outstanding guard in Jensen. They got players, and they were a little too much for the Knights the other night.
Well, I remember for the first time in a long time, maybe ever, when Overlake got a win against Kings, and what it meant for that team, what it meant for their ability to envision how far they could go.
Yeah, that springboarded them on a great playoff run. They wound up going to state that year, and then they went out and won a couple nail-biters at the state tournament to finish 6th overall. But you're right. I think it had everything to do with that win that night over Kings.
And so while we haven't had a lot of varsity basketball action in the last couple of weeks, we have seen a lot of our middle school teams. We don't get a chance to talk about them much, but they've been going strong in 2025. Catch us up to date on what the future looks like.
Here's the Nickel Tour. There are 10 middle school basketball teams this year, 6 boys and 4 girls. About 110 kids turned out at the middle school level to play some hoops. Some have never played basketball before, and they're part of some of our teams that play schools like that, right?
Yep.
But then there's some kids who play year-round. There are some really good players sitting in that. I mean, every year we're kind of amazed. Isaac is a really outstanding player on the boys' side, but you look around and there's a bunch of young guys on that team that can really play. So that's Roby's squad. I think they're 6-1, and really, they won 6 in a row.
Yeah,
They're
that's Isaac Kushner, young
oh,
Isaac Kushner,
he's good.
The eighth grader. We'll see him on some of these courts.
He will be an outstanding player in high school. And then on the girls' side, from the boys' standpoint, we're 14-4 overall. And the girls, they play the majority of their games the second half of the season. The boys play first, so that would be why the boys are 14-4, and the girls are 7-2 overall. When you combine their top 3 teams, that's top 3. We're really kind of trying to be as competitive as possible at that level. So 3-3, and they're, I guess that's 21-6.
That's not bad. The future is bright for the young Owls. It is the holiday season as we get ready to tip off JV game here, followed by the varsity at Hoquiam. If you were these two programs, and they're not at the midpoint yet, but this is when you tend to take stock. What are both these teams kind of hoping for in their stocking here in late December? What do they need to kind of open up as a gift to finish out the rest of the year?
You mean the varsity boys and the varsity girls?
Varsity boys and varsity girls, yeah.
Well, I'll start with the boys. The varsity boys, I think have a lot of pieces, right? They're very athletic. They have exceptional speed. They got some guys who can shoot it. They are not a big team, right? I mean, their starting center is 6'1".
Yep.
Right. Starting guards are 6'1" for that matter too. But you got a lot of 6'1" guys, which in high school basketball is not that tall. So they have to be twice as aggressive as everyone they play. Today they're going to see a team that's about their size, and I always give the advantage to the Owls in matchups like that. But in order to get where they want to get, which is back to the state tournament and like they were last year, they're going to need to be ultra aggressive. And what I'd really like to see personally is the offensive rebounding. In their losses recently, for example, when they lost to Bear Creek, they had 8 total offensive boards. The next game against Cedar Park, when you win by 22, they had 16. So to me, aggression can be, hey, we're going to crank up our D. We're going to try to force some turnovers. But the good team should be able to handle pressure. But no matter if it's pressure or not, there's going to be rebounds. And you've got to get the offensive glass. That's pure aggression. That's pure effort. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be 6'7" to get an offensive board. You just have to have a big heart. And when they're playing well, they're pounding the boards and getting the long rebounds and getting on the floor. So I think that's the boys. But how about the girls?
Well, for me, if I'm thinking about what's next for this girls team, it is a question of composure. And what I mean by that is they are still working on running the entire shot clock with a plan. They tend to either get really deep into a possession, right, and a little scattered, trying to get a shot up in the last 5 seconds, or they get a shot up in the first 10 seconds of the possession that they could really get any time. And one of the steps I think this boys team has taken over the last couple of years is really getting the shot they want, believing in their stuff, being composed enough to just run offense and trust that the next shot is going to be there. You don't have to take the first one you can get, right? You can give it up, trade it up for a better one. And the girls team, I think, is ending a lot of possessions with shots that I would call a 2 or 3 or 4 out of 10, right? And unless you're going to get a whole bunch of offensive rebounds, right, and get yourself 2 or 3 looks at that every time, you got to have more possessions that are 7s or 8s or 9 out of 10 shots.
And I think composure also means like being physically balanced, because some of their shots are just off balance. I think they're rushing. They're just rushing a lot. But, in their win over UPrep, they settled down enough to hit some big hoops, and that's certainly what we look for the rest of the way.
So speaking of the rest of the way, we're not quite at the halfway mark. A lot of good basketball left, particularly in the conference schedule. Give us not just the hot tickets for this week, because both these teams are going to take a little time off, which is nice.
Oh, yeah.
After today, what are your hot tickets the rest of the way?
Well, January is going to be busy, right? So that's the athletic department will be humming, and certainly the basketball program. And there's some big ones. On the 9th, which is a Friday night, we got Kings, right? So Kings is coming in with their boys, and I believe it's South Whidbey's girls that night. So that'll be fun. Anytime you get Friday night in the gym, our crowds triple in size, and that's a big one. If we can get Kings on the boys' side, that is a signature win for the season, and puts them right in the discussion of league championships, right? So, but Kings last year, we played them. We went to their house.
Yep.
We went to overtime.
Played them tough at their place.
Probably a game Overlake should have won in regulation. Fortunately, went into OT. King got us that night. And then I think the boys just backed it off a little because they thought, hey, we already took them to OT. At their place, we're going to get them. Well,
By the way,
got to go get them.
By the way, the King's Gymnasium deserves at least an honorable mention on our list of great small school places.
Hats
to go
off
play.
to wood bleachers.
Yep,
just a great place. And then so that's one real hot ticket. I'd say senior night always is, and this year it's against Bear Creek on both the boys and the girls side.
That's going to be a big night.
So let's go. That's the 27th. That's a Tuesday. But from our standpoint, there are games, and then there are games for great causes, and we're doing a Hoops for Hope, which is our tradition of Coaches versus Cancer. It's a tribute night for brain cancer research at the Seattle Children's Hospital. We're thinking of Daphne Wickham, who we lost way too early, who would have been a senior this year, and a basketball player, I might add. And we'll see her brother play today, Sadie Wickham. Her sister was a big part of our girls program. So this is something that's near and dear to our heart. That's the 16th of January. It's against Northwest on both the boys and the girls side. And it should be a great night. So if you're trying to pick one night for all the right reasons, that's your night.
Yeah.
If you're looking at big competitive nights, look out for those Kings and Bear Creek dates.
And that will just about do it for today's edition of Two Owls Talking Sports. John, happy holidays to you.
And to you.
It's been a real blast getting to do this in 2025. We'll just get bigger and bigger in 26.
Sounds wonderful.
All right. Thanks for joining us, Two Owls Talking Sports. I'm Mike Davidson for my partner, John Wiley. Happy holidays to you and yours.